Hi, I'm Frank Tiano, the Assistant Superintendent of Schools here in Framingham. Thank you for joining us for this special FPS presentation. Our topic today is capital projects. As many of you know, our town has several budgets that are voted on annually at the spring town meeting that impact the school department. The first, of course, is the operating budget that, along with other funding, pays for the basic operations of the schools, such as salaries, curriculum, materials, and so forth. The second, and just as important, is the capital budget. The capital budget is money allocated by town meeting to purchase, refurbish, maintain, and restore our capital assets. When you think of capital assets, think brick and mortar, food service equipment, technology, HVAC, furniture, things that you can actually touch. Focusing on the brick and mortar, FPS is a district with 16 buildings, over 303 acres, and 1.7 million square feet of space to maintain to ensure the safe learning and working environment for our staff and our students. The town has been quite generous, and we wanted to update you, the public, on our progress. To do just that, we invited the person responsible for the long and short-range planning for our facilities, as well as for the budgeting, scheduling of all the projects that happen. That, of course, is Mr. Matt Tordai, Director of Buildings and Grounds for the Framingham Public Schools. Matt, welcome. Before we begin, just hoping you could tell us a little bit about yourself, your background, how long you've been here in Framingham, and
Sure. Well, first of all, thank you so much for giving me the opportunity to explain what we do every year and how we plan for and obtain funding and get the projects done. Tell you a little bit about myself. I've been in the district 16 years. I've been the director for 8. Prior to that, I was the assistant director for 8 years. And prior to that, I worked heavy construction. Little side note, I was the superintendent of the construction projects when we built the Wilson School and also the Cameron Middle School.
So you know them quite intimately.
I do. I do. So I didn't design them, but we built them, the former company I worked for. And so that's how I came to work for the town of Framingham, through those relationships.
That's great. And even your background before then, how did you get into the construction world?
So I started out as a carpenter, just a carpenter's assistant, and worked my way up to carpenter foreman. I got a little bit of education and became certified carpenter foreman licenses. And then I got into heavy construction and did a lot of civil engineering. And that led me to become a construction superintendent. And in between all that, I got a degree in business, and so that all lends itself quite well to becoming a facilities manager and maintaining buildings. So the construction knowledge and the business really lend itself well to those roles.
So you have an extensive background, and you were born for this position, obviously.
I enjoy it.
And we have, in talking about the capital budget, obviously the operating budget gets most of the press. But tell us how important the capital budget is to the school department.
Right. So the capital budget is an integral part of our budget process, because the operating budget for buildings and grounds is about $4 million with some of the salaries built into that, but that's mostly just building maintenance, electricity, natural gas, those types of things. So the larger ticket items, anything over $25,000, is considered a capital expenditure. And it's eligible for capital funding through town meeting. And so what we do is we plan through long-range planning, we plan for these projects, and we submit them to various committees and boards at the town for their approval. And then once we gain their approval, the list is prioritized, and we go before town meeting and get their approval for most of it, hopefully most of those projects.
And so that process is actually quite extensive. Could you walk us through the long-term and the short-term processes that you have?
Sure. So, of course, there's the long range, or the big picture, looking at the buildings over a 20-year period. Mm-hmm. And we try to anticipate the useful life of all the equipment, everything from roofs, boilers, windows, to the architectural finishes. So we try to anticipate the fail date, if you would, or the expected life.
The expiration date?
The expiration date. The expected life of those items. And typically it's 20 years for most mechanical systems. Could be a little less for a roof. But so what we do is we put those things in a spreadsheet, and that determines, you know these things are upcoming, so you're not just flying blind. You have anticipate that these items need to be upgraded before they fail. So that's important, because if you plan ahead, that's going to cause a lot less breakdowns. You do miss some things. We had a cooling tower, for example, over at Cameron School let go, and it's unanticipated. You can't plan for it, but then it's an emergency funding that we pay for out of our operating budget, which hurts. So
that definitely hurts. And can you talk a little bit more about some of the surprises that may have happened recently?
So obviously we had a big flood at a couple of the schools. Well, actually two of which, the McCarthy School and the King School, took on quite a bit of damage. And that was really an extraordinary set of circumstances where we had extreme cold and then extreme warming the very next day, and it actually caused some pipes to freeze and burst. It's when things thaw out is the problem, because that's when the pipes expand and burst. Yeah. And the problem was it was over a long period where we didn't have the building occupied for more than 24 hours. So
it was over a holiday weekend.
It was over a holiday weekend, but we actually did have a technician in the building the day before. He didn't see anything wrong, so we anticipate we expected that happened somewhere in a 24-hour period. Well, in 24 hours, there was a lot of damage done. So the flooded area was everything from these double doors this way. This is where we sustained a lot of water damage from the flood, and all this work has been done and being reimbursed by the insurance company. As you know, we had to relocate the existing first floor B wing McCarthy Elementary School students, first graders and kindergartners, to the Fuller School. We're very fortunate that we had the space to do that. But it was a big undertaking and a lot of cooperation from all the teachers, administrators, custodial and maintenance staff to make that all happen, to make sure that the kids had a place to go to school in a very short period of time. And in addition to that, we had some water damage at the King School. We refurbished that entire front wing and the lower level. So it really looks new. It was all done.
It looks fantastic.
It was all completed by the end of the summer, so we were very fortunate to get all that work done. So that was a big surprise to us we didn't plan for.
Right. And it wasn't necessarily a capital expenditure, but it goes along with your department and everything that you take care of.
Well, thankfully, the town has insurance, and the Travelers insurance to date has covered 100% of the costs associated with that. We're up about 1.4 million and raising to 1.5 in damages and salaries and everything that's reimbursable from the Travelers.
So coming back to the capital process. You put together the long-range plan. You have a 20-year, a 10-year, a 5-year, and then we have the 1-year plan. You go to all the committees. We go to town meeting. Do we always get what we want?
Never. Well, I mean, there's a long list, and frankly, we have a lot of old buildings in our inventory. We typically are around $7 or $8 million in capital requests. We may see 3 to 4 million, and again,
that's great.
Years gone by, it was 1 million. So the CFO, Mary Ellen Kelly, and town meeting has been very generous, and they recognize the need to maintain our structures and that we need to invest in these buildings because they don't get replaced very often. So we need to make sure they're going to last a long time.
That's right, and they have to take care of all the town buildings as well. It's not just the school department. So town meeting, it has a difficult job.
And the town infrastructure and roadways, I'm sure we've all felt the pain of rerouting traffic and roadway construction that's been going on, the part of a huge upgrade. Hats off to DPW and all the work they do.
Well, I know town meeting appreciates your work coming in with a comprehensive plan and all the detail lined up. So thank you for that. We're going to take a quick break. We're going to go to a video that was shot by students here at Framingham High School. When we come back, we'll have Matt Tordai update us on the capital projects for FY17.
Good morning, Framingham High School, and welcome to another edition of Flyer News.
Standing next to this pretty sick bike And I'm talking about girls lacrosse.
Larry David's stunt double.
Last night, the Red Sox were trying to kickstart a win streak.
Today we are going to see some sun with clouds in the afternoon.
First of all, I just want to say thank you to everybody who came out to graduation.
The new Kristen McAuliffe Library finally opened its doors earlier last month.
Adele was the big winner of the night, taking home awards including Top Female Artist, and Top Album.
You know who it is. My boy Drake earns a spot in the playlist.
And we're back talking FY17 capital projects with our Director of Buildings and Grounds, Matt Tordai. Now, Matt, I've been in this business, this is my 27th year, and I'm always blown away by the amount of work that gets done in the summer months. I mean, just to frame the timeline, you know, the students leave in June, the fiscal year starts July 1, so that's when you can really get moving, and then the kids are back in August. So on top of all the capital projects, along with the maintenance of the buildings, the grounds, the cleaning of the schools. And your crew is absolutely exceptional at this because the schools look great and the amount of construction that happened over the summer is just absolutely amazing. I was hoping you could walk us through the timeline, the projects that we were approved for FY17 and the impact that that's going to have on our school district.
Sure. Well, as you said, it takes a real team effort. And first, my staff is incredible. The buildings and ground staff, the maintenance staff, the office clerical people, hats off to all of them. I mean, no one could do it alone, and I've surrounded myself with very good people, so I guess I'm smart.
Smart man.
But in addition to them, we reach out to other town departments to help us out. DPW, the tree department, water department, they all play a part in what we do, as well as the administrative people at the town hall. So it's really a team effort, and we can't do it alone, and we appreciate everyone's help. Some of the projects that we did, as you mentioned previously, Dr. Tiano, that it's not all dirt and buildings. Some of it, any item like technology is a big capital investment for the town. I think over the past 3 years, they've invested $1 million per year. So last year, that was number one on the list, and it was funded by the town meeting. So that supplies everything from laptops to book carts to software. So that was,
and we're very grateful for that as well.
Very grateful. The second item we did was a lot of asbestos tile and asbestos pipe covering removal and replacement of those items with new non-asbestos containing materials. And so that went on at several schools, but the biggest part of that was at the McCarthy School and the King School. Because of the flood, we had to remove all the floor tile, and we took the opportunity to remove all the pipe coverings while we were there. We had to remove carpet, and under the carpet was asbestos composite tile. So that all had to be abated, removed and abated. All of the tile and the carpet had to come out, and this was all asbestos tile. Every room in this whole wing was done. Ceilings, floors, all new cabinetry, sink bases. Our goal is someday make all the buildings asbestos free, but we do maintain the asbestos, and within DEP guidelines, it's inspected every 6 months and 3 years. So we follow that the guidelines set forth by DEP on all that. We were approved for fire alarm device upgrades at the King's School, which we actually ran out of time this past summer. We weren't able to do it. We're hopefully to get that done over to the Christmas break.
Nice.
Big job that you mentioned was the Stapleton School. For those of you that haven't seen it, please drive by, take a look. You'll get blown away. The new field, the playground, retaining walls, it's really amazing. We did the preliminary design in-house and then brought in Beta Engineering and LaRusso Corp. They're the town's roadway improvements contractor for the next 3 years. They were a great crew. Everybody worked well together, and that's how we were able to pull it off and have it ready opening day. And the kids were out there on the new turf field and on the playground, and everything's great.
But you were able to do that in like 6 weeks or 8 weeks?
Well, we actually got an early jump. We started June 20th, right after school got out, because we knew we were going to be a tight schedule and we needed every day. Yeah. As it turns out, we did need every day. There's still a few loose ends, some signs going up, but,
sure.
But all of the safety items were in place, and we made sure it was ready to go.
It looks great.
Thank you. We did receive some funding to maintain. For those of you that don't know, we were invited into the Massachusetts School Building Authority's reimbursement program for a new school facility. And so what we need to do is make sure that the existing Fuller School, which we were planning on replacing, is safe. And we've done a lot of work on the roof, but one of the capital projects was to do some what's called underpinning or shoring of the building temporarily, because we have some structural integrity issues at one of the buildings. It's not unsafe, but it's something that we would make sure that we're safe to occupy for the next 3 years until we have a new facility. We're hoping in 3 years. We did multiple projects at 6 schools on HVAC upgrades. These are everything from roof compressors to roof fans and air handling units, and in addition to all the filter changes and all the duct cleaning that we do annually, this is something that is a lot larger. So we received over $500,000 in funding from capital budget to pay for that work, and that's ongoing every year.
Sure. And that's important too. Most people don't get to see that work that's done, and that's infrastructure,
right,
to make sure that our schools are viable into the distant future.
Well,
and without that work,
it's all about health and safety, right?
Yeah.
First, health, safety first. So we want to make sure the air quality is good. You know, like I said, the Fuller School has some roof leaks, and we want to make sure that we take care of those as they happen. But having the funding to work on the mechanical equipment is imperative to everyone's health and well-being. And they do also provide funding for us to do in-house projects. As I mentioned, we do have the maintenance staff. We have in-house plumber, electrician, HVAC technician, carpenters. Those people work on projects that we get the materials money, and then we actually do the physical work. So small boilers, domestic boilers, we'll do bathroom upgrades, everything, all the toilet fixtures.
All in-house.
All in-house.
And that has to save us a ton of money.
It does save the town a lot of money, so they're worth their weight in gold, those people. And we were able to get a new food service truck. I'm sure you've all seen that driving around town with the Brendan Ryan has the...
I haven't seen it yet.
Yeah, really? It's got the big fruit basket on the side of it, Framingham Public Schools Food Services. So that was paid for through capital funding, as well as a new truck for buildings and grounds. And we're really fortunate that, again, that town meeting recognizes and supports the need. There were 14 projects that we asked for. We got 9. And to the tune of over $3 million.
Yeah.
And it's a lot of work to get done in a very short period of time. We also worked on the Farley building. It's ongoing. And for those of you that drive by on Flag Drive, you see the big opening in the wall. You can see into the old pool area. We had to replace the roof because we really don't know until what the use of that building is going to be after Mass Bay moves out. But we know that we do need the space. So we wanted to make sure that we kept that building a viable option. So that's why we're doing the work there. So that was also funded through town meeting. So. And
that project will be ongoing for
it should be done,
the next few months?
It should be done as far as we're going to take it. We're going to make sure that the building's watertight, put in a large overhead door so that we can get access for heavy equipment. But there's still the infill of the pool, and the pool equipment has to be removed at some point, depending upon what we decide to do with the space. Barberry is an identical school, and we use that space, that old pool space, for a warehouse, which has proved invaluable because we're able to buy bulk and also store all our equipment and keep it out of the weather. So.
And you have that completely organized too, and
it's a challenge, but
and put together.
Great people supporting me.
It's impressive.
Thank you,
Matt. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you.
I know that the FY18 capital process is already underway. So
it is.
Good luck with that. I look forward to working with you and everyone else around that project.
Well, I really appreciate the opportunity to talk about what we do.
All right.
Thanks.
Thanks. And thank you for joining us for this FPS special presentation of the FY17 Capital Project Update. I'd like to thank the Director of Building and Grounds, Mr. Matthew Tordai, once again for his time, and a special thanks to Michael Goodman and Derek Sachs from Framingham Educational Channel, as well as the student volunteers here. For more information on the Framingham Public Schools, please visit our new and improved website at www.framingham.k12.ma.gov. fpsprojects.us. Once again, thanks for watching.